Hi kitties, it's time again for another Candlelight tale, and tonight's tale is about the Bunnyman. Oh, don't let the name put you off. It's actually quite creepy. Where I grew up, there was a legend that was whispered about, and even a lot of paranormal shows have covered this subject, and I think it's quite extraordinary. It's an urban legend that took on an amazing life and morphed over 100 years. The original tale went that in the early 1900s, in the rural area outside of where I grew up, there was a mental hospital. And as citizens began to move to the area, they didn't want to be near a mental hospital. So they had to close it down, they had to take the patients and put them into a new facility. And when they did so, they had a crash, and one of the patients got loose in the woods. Well, the tale says that they first started noticing, the citizens around the area, that a lot of dead bunnies were around, and they were skinned and eaten, and they figured that it must be this loose mental patient and that he's eating bunnies and living in the woods, and several search parties supposedly went looking for him. Never found him, but then one year some children playing near a trestle bridge, a railroad bridge, were supposedly killed by the Bunnyman and hung from the end of the bridge so that people passing through the bridge would see them dangling there. Well, this legend was, it kind of took on a whole new life as I was a child. The first time I'd ever actually heard of it, I was camping with my brother in the backyard in a nylon tent. I was about 8 years old and he was about 13. And one of the people that lived in one of the carriage houses we had, he came out to check on us to be sure we were okay. And we said, oh yeah, we're listening to the transistor radio and we're having fun. And he said, okay, I just wanted to be sure that, you're not going to be killed by the Bunnyman. And we were kind of like, what are you talking about? What Bunnyman? And then he proceeded to tell us that, and this is the newer version of the legend that grew up with me in our community, was that there was a man who wore a bunny suit, and he had been found on lovers' lanes and places where people were alone, and had proceeded to kill people with an axe. And this man told us, well, the last victim, he actually hacked to death and hung from the sign at the end of our street, so he hasn't been that far away from us. Well, where I grew up, we weren't all that far away from a prison, and every time prisoners got loose, the police would come to our yard and comb the woods around our house and tell us to stay inside and lock the doors. Ironically, we didn't actually have a door lock. Aspen Grove was kind of a strange place. We didn't have any door locks. So we would just stay indoors and hide. So I hear him thinking, well, there's this man probably hiding in our woods with a bunny suit and an axe, killing people. For a good summer there, I didn't go into the woods at all. I couldn't do it. And then I realized I was really sick of being scared of the woods. So by the next springtime, when I knew I wanted to go play in the woods, I decided I had just had it. So I gathered up the chocolate bunny that was in my basket on Easter, and I put a steak knife in it, and I set that at the end of our driveway at the mailbox. And I figured that would be a sign to the Bunnyman that this is not a place that he can go. He can't get away with killing people here. And then I just proceeded to go back into the woods and enjoy myself. Now, a reporter eventually did look into this story and found out that none of it held any truth, as far as there had never been a mental hospital, there had never been a wreck, there had never been a man in the woods, and there had never been children dangling from a bridge. But there had actually been, in my childhood, a man supposedly seen running around in a bunny suit scaring people. So that's, I guess, how it ended up being tied together into one big tale. Urban legends are one of my favorite things, and I'm amazed at how these kind of like old wives' tales can be passed on and people never question them and just end up having a lot of fears. And to this day, I still don't like seeing the bunny at the mall that everybody gets their picture taken with. I just sort of bypass it and miss that part of the mall. So, it really does stick with you. And that is the tale for today.